Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up? Wow. Stumbling right out of the gate. Couldn't even get the N on nerds out. I went, what's up words is what I was about to say.
Hey.
And I just stumbled around for a little bit.
We show up on a different day and things get all wonky.
Things get all wonky. What is up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. My name is Mike Gibson. With me is Steve Haller. What's up, Steve?
Yeah.
Sorry. Tonight we're recapping the week's nerdy news from Aldahni to Sanctum, Sanctorum, and everywhere in between. My name is Mike Gibson. What's up, Steve Haller. What's up, Steve?
Did you start that at 1.5% or 1.5 times like I watched the Joker Folie trailer?
I tried to get through it because it was already taking too much time.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I think that was probably more than 1.5 speed.
It might have been. Yeah, I think you're well above there.
Yeah.
So
anyway, what's up?
Nothing. Been
that clunky ass intro.
Yeah, no, just been, living the general life, housework on the weekend. Though I can say, in the realm of nerddom, played some Star Wars Unlimited card game with my kid.
What is that? Star Wars Unlimited card game.
It's a new like Magic the Gathering type game.
Oh, okay.
But based all in Star Wars. So
cool.
It was fun. It was a really enjoyable time. Apparently it's sold out everywhere, so apparently it's a hit.
Nice.
So we'll probably be seeing and hearing more news about that too. So
that's cool. It sounded familiar, but I haven't seen it or played it. So awesome. Cool. Before we get rolling, we do have a not hefty amount, but a good amount of stuff to touch on and talk about. One or two big things and a bunch of smaller stuff really to discuss. But first, before we really dive in, Steve and I wanted to make sure that we are checking in on our loyal listeners, watchers, whoever, and making sure that everybody is recovered from the most recent episode of X-Men 97. Is everybody okay? Is everybody at an okay emotional place? Is everyone gonna make it? No spoilers, obviously, if you haven't seen it, but if you need us, we're here. We're here. Just, we're here for you.
It was so intense for me, I cut my hair off.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, that was a reaction to the devastation.
It was explicitly because of what happened in episode 5 of X-Men 97. This is our plea for if anyone is not watching that and is in the general nerd sphere and can stomach animation, I know some people are vehemently against it. Even if you are, check this show out because the crew is absolutely killing it. Like Bo DeMaio he gets the X-Men. Let's put it that way.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. And I agree with everything Steve just said. And again, I'll remind you, this is coming from somebody who was not excited for this show. I was not excited for it. It's one of the greatest Marvel things I've seen in years. Straight up years.
Yeah. It might be.
And that's just Marvel. I'm not even just I'm MCU, Sony stuff, animation, what have you, Marvel comics, Marvel stuff all together. This is the best Marvel thing I've seen in years.
See, and that's the thing is I'm trying to figure out whether it's playing on nostalgia, and like for you, it's definitely not playing on nostalgia as much as me. So
it is a little bit
right.
Because I watched and liked that original series, but I said, I wasn't like excited for it to come back. It's because it's taking things and characters that I already know and pushing them into new things and not being afraid to get away from what the old show was.
Right.
And that's what is really connecting with me, that it's a step forward. It's not rehashing old plots or whatever. It is moving all these characters forward rapidly.
And it may be a spoiler, but I can't say enough about the fact that they brought Kurt back.
Yeah, that was big.
I saw my furry little elf and I was a happy man. So yes.
Yeah.
Things are all right in the world of that's never mind. Things are not all right in the world of X-Men 97. However, things are all right in the world of viewing X-Men 97.
Yes. 100%.
Similarly, if you have not seen Shogun, it's not in the nerd sphere, but holy shit, is that a good show?
Yeah, I keep hearing that it's really good.
Yeah, my wife and I took that on as our co-watch. We always have one show like we wildly diverge on things we actually want to watch.
Sure.
But there's always one thing that we're plugging through together, and Shogun was a good pick.
All right. Yeah. I keep hearing good things about it, mostly from you.
Yeah.
Good to hear. All right. Might be all the business that we have. Besides that, the fact this show is sponsored by Funky Town Comics and Vinyl in Camillus, New York. Check them out for all your Funky Town comics and Funky Town vinyl needs.
And if you like their vinyl needs, they're going to be having a ridiculous sale this weekend for Record Store Day. While they are not an official Record Store Day participant, they are doing a, for lack of a better term, dumb sale. 50% off all used and 10% off all new, or 20% off all new.
I think it's 10% off all new, 20% off something else.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
But 50% off used vinyl, people. Like, go find something. There's something awesome in those back bins. I guarantee it.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty cool sale over there if you're into vinyl. All right, kicking the rundown off here. Steve, I was excited. This is a franchise that we've talked about more and more recently, I feel like. And from all the news and things that we've talked about already and the stuff that we've heard of, it's one that we're going to be talking about more and more and more. And so officially on our little rundown thing, I have like little colored text indicators for specific franchises. And I used to put this one under miscellaneous, and now it's been upgraded. It's got its own little thing. It's got its own little headline now.
And an appropriately colored.
Color-coded. That's right. I try to color code them as well because I'm extra nerdy.
Yes.
But this one says TMNT for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the layman. And this is something that I know Steve is very excited about, for sure.
Yes.
So may let him do the majority of the talking on this one. But Paramount Pictures is developing a live-action film based on the Last Ronin series, which is a comic book series. Very popular, wildly popular. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles entry in their comic book franchise. Story depicts, again, we've talked about this before. We may have spoiled something in the past, but now that we're talking about a movie, I feel like I definitely don't want to spoil anything. I haven't read the whole series. I've only read issue 1. Steve, you've read the whole thing. This is a book that takes place in the future of the Turtles. There's only one left.
Right.
3 of them have died. One of them is left. That one is wearing a black mask, like in mourning, and has all of their weapons. So there's a while where you don't know who it is. And I'm not going to spoil who it is if they're going to build this movie around some kind of reveal or whatever. Who knows how they're going to do
There's
it.
plenty of spoilers around the internet, and I believe if you go back to episode like 100 something, I probably spoiled it on accident.
Yeah.
I believe I remember. But there's one turtle left.
There's one turtle left.
It is the Last Ronin.
Yeah. And that turtle, and they're seeking vengeance for the death of their brothers, obviously.
Their brothers and their father and all sorts of things.
Yeah, and everything. So that's the pretty awesome plot of the series. And now the Hollywood Reporters are saying that this film is going to be written by a guy named Tyler Burton Smith, who wrote an upcoming R-rated movie called Boy Kills World, as well as the 2019 Child's Play remake. He's been hired to write the screenplay. And then the only bit of news about this is that the studio is aiming for an R rating. They're looking to make an R-rated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie based on The Last Ronin. Now, Steve, as someone who loves this series and has read every issue of it, what are your thoughts?
I think I'm glad they're aiming for a hard R, because there's no way they could do this series without it. Yeah. Like it's raw, and it's very reminiscent of the original Eastman and Laird, like no holds barred. Like it's gritty.
Yeah.
So
the parts of it that I read were for sure.
Yeah. And it doesn't need to be a hard R. We're not talking like ridiculous. I
like
get
sex or anything.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're gonna maybe see a nude turtle, but it's a turtle.
They're kind of nude anyway. They just wear those
right.
little belts and masks.
That is true.
Yeah. Mostly nude.
Turtle takes the mask off, gains the R rating. But I mean, this story takes everything from the point where I guess the general public would know where the turtles went, and just expands on what happens after that. There's flashbacks to what went down with each of the other three's deaths, how it all went through, like what happened and why the last Ronin is left avenging all of his brothers, and what's happening. And it's the books are extremely well written. The spin-offs really well done too. Actually, there's 2 spin-offs, because there's the Lost Years and then there's Last Ronin 2, which is a new set of turtles that are.
I was gonna say that's coming out now, right?
Yeah, that just started. Issue 1 just dropped. I think you could probably pick it up at Funky Town. They might have sold out at this point, but yeah, it's literally one of the turtles and April are the only people left that you would remotely know.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Exciting. It would be cool if they can make the movie in a way where you don't know which turtle it is until later. The big reveal, like that would be cool. But I can also see them being like, "This is too hard. Like, we need to address this character by name."
Right.
With it, yeah.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they, like, say it's a 2-hour film. Maybe they go like 20-25 minutes of secrecy and then drop it, because mannerisms and vocalizations and all that are.
That's true.
It's going to have. They're so distinctly different turtles. Yeah. That it's going to be tough.
I mean, there's like weapons, depending on which version you're reading, the color of their masks,
right,
and personalities are the only thing that set them apart. Otherwise, they look identical,
right,
most likely. So.
Well, and that, I mean, the weapons wise, like that was the big thing when the cover for the first issue of Last Ronin dropped. And you can actually see it on our thumbnail, but it's a turtle in a hood with all 4 of the sets of weapons, and you're just like, oh God, what happened?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm also excited about this. I think this is cool. It's cool that they're like diversifying the franchise a little bit, like, because we're still getting a sequel to the Mutant Mayhem movie,
which I still stand by was probably one of my favorite movies of 23.
100%.
Yeah,
me too. But I think somebody at the studio is smart enough to know, like, oh yeah, no, we can still make Mutant Mayhem for kids, but there's a whole generation of adults that grew up loving the Ninja Turtles that would probably appreciate a darker tone to some of this stuff. So what can we do? So I like that a lot. I haven't seen Boy Kills World, or I haven't heard much about it. I don't think it's out yet, but I gotta say, I really hated the Child's Play remake of 2019. I gotta say, I just thought it was boring. I thought it was blah.
Rote.
But so I can't really say whether or not Tyler Burton Smith, I think, really lights my world on fire for a choice for this.
Yeah, that was a Bill Skarsgård. Although I guess if you have any horror movie in recent times, it's involving Bill Skarsgård. So,
he was in the Child's Play.
No, the Boy Kills World.
Oh, Boy Kills World. Okay.
He was the aforementioned Bill or Boy.
Oh, Boy.
Yes,
okay.
Bill was the Bill.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot he's the Crow too.
Yeah, those Skarsgårds are everywhere. Yeah. One thing I do want from this movie, and there's no word on this, it's just an announcement. There's no news other than it's being worked on and it's going to be an R-rated film. I would love it if they brought back practical suit for.
That was something I was going to bring up, because they really need to, especially if there's only one. But that guy can suck it up.
If there's going to be flashbacks, then there may be more than one. But I think, the suits in the original 90s run of films that had practical suits, they didn't look bad necessarily.
Oh,
maybe the mouths didn't line up. They looked really good especially for the time, but also like now they still look good.
Dude, if I watched that right now, I'd be like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, and there's people there, and and the actors inside are doing flips and fighting and stuff. So like they move, like it's cool. Imagine like 30 years later or whatever, like what they can do now, they would look even better. And they would definitely look better than the junky CGI Michael Bay version that I haven't even seen those movies, but I've seen the trailers for those movies, and the CGI in those turtles doesn't look believable to me at all. So I'm hoping that they go a more practical route.
That was what you chose to critique about the Michael Bay movies?
I haven't seen them. I can't critique anything else.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's plenty of other things to critique.
I'm sure that there are.
Though I will say that animated film from right around that time was absolutely killer.
I've heard that, and I remember wanting to see it when it came out. It was like 2007 or something.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It was surprisingly, like, I say surprisingly, but like I didn't expect anything out of it, and it was very good.
Yeah, I think that was an earlier attempt to like reignite the franchise for kids, but it didn't hit for some reason.
Yep.
I don't know. Timing was wrong or whatever.
Actually, he wore his Ninja Turtle shirt today, so there we go. It's all tying in together.
Yeah. So definitely excited about that. That is news that came out of CinemaCon, which was a convention for like journalists and stuff that cover this kind of stuff. They get brought in and they get shown. Every big studio has a big presentation, and
it's
bring
like
out trailers and announcements
like a formal
and things.
con type thing.
Yeah,
it's more of a
sometimes
it's more of a conference than a convention.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because there's little to no just members of the public that are able to go. Something else that came out of CinemaCon, of course, Warner Brothers had a number of our stories tonight come from CinemaCon updates. Warner Brothers being one of the studios that did a presentation, and they showed trailer that has also been released online since, the first trailer for Joker Folie à Deux, the sequel to the $1 billion grossing Joker R-rated film, highest grossing R-rated film of all time, I believe. Is a film that hits theaters Friday, October 4th. It is a musical, a jukebox musical, as we've talked about extensively. However, similarly with other musicals that have been released in the last few months, including The Color Purple, Wonka, and Mean Girls, the trailer did not show them singing any songs.
No.
Although it did talk about the importance of music. And whoever's speaking in the trailer is talking about music and its effect on inmates or something, I think is what they're talking about. But it didn't, and it showed there's dancing, but there's dancing in the first Joker too. So that's not out of the ordinary for this general franchise. But to not show either of them singing a song, I think is clearly a purposeful choice. And it was a choice that was made with the other three movies that I mentioned as well, where there's definitely people that went to see Mean Girls and Wonka and Color Purple and not knowing that they're musicals because no songs were in the trailers.
Right.
And we probably talked about this at the time, or maybe we did because I don't think we really covered any of those movies. Maybe Wonka, but it's weird to not tell people that it's a musical, right?
You would think so. I mean, the trailer's set to what is it? What the world needs now is love.
Yes.
Was it
Burt Bacharach?
I know Bacharach wrote it, but I can't remember who famously performed it. But
it sounded kind of like Tom Jones in the trailer.
Yeah, kind of.
I could have been wrong, but the voice kind of sounded a little like Tom Jones.
Definitely something of that era, but yeah. But that tune, like everybody knows it if they hear it. Oh, Dionne Warwick.
Like I know they want people to go see this, and I think that there's like nerds like you and me that are like in the trenches, right? So we hear this news, we know that it's a musical, even though they're not telling the general audiences. But like, think about the number of people that saw the first Joker movie. Again, $1 billion movie. Think about the members of the general public that went to see that are going to go see this because they liked the first one. And the minute that a character starts singing, they're going to be like, are you kidding me? What is this?
Yeah.
What is happening? I don't like this. Like, and you're also going to like, you probably attract people that actually do like musicals. If you told them it was a musical, might spark their interest. Like, so you're alienating part of your the crowd that's already bought in by not telling them, and you're also disregarding audience members that might be attracted to that information. So I don't understand why studios are like embarrassed that they're making musicals. Like, either don't make them or tell people that you're making them. I don't get that. I don't get it.
Right.
Anyway, that's my little rant about that. Steve, you famously watched this right before we went on at 1.5 speed, which I am fully against. Just I'm across the board. I'm against watching things at speeds other than the speeds that they were supposed to be watched at. So, Steve, at a 1.5, you have to. Your review has to also be at 1.5 speed. What did you think of this trailer? That's a joke. You don't have to talk that fast. Okay.
It was fine. I don't really know what was happening in the movie. I just seemed like it was more of the same from what we saw from the Joker, which I didn't see.
Right.
And I don't know. The whole slowing it back down. Gaga, like, I don't know. That whole thing. It's like we're watching this. It's like they're trying to take too seriously this weird ass relationship that was, I don't know, fractured and a mess and whatever, and turn it into this star-crossed lovers thing.
Well, that's part of what I'm curious about because because I mean the first Joker, I know you haven't seen it, but we've talked about it,
right?
So I think you know enough to know that they definitely take swings with the mythology as far as the comics go or other movies go. Like it's its own thing. The first Joker movie is not based on any specific book or based on any comic run or anything like that, and they make up their own mythology. So that is kind of what I expected for this. And in regards to the Joker Harley thing, it clearly, to me, does not look like she is a psychiatrist that is working at Arkham Asylum. She seems like another patient at Arkham Asylum.
I mean, that first shot, he sees her in the crowd of other inmates class. Or whatever. Yeah.
Right. So that, I don't know. I guess I'm just interested to see how this relationship builds, and is it as toxic as the one in the comics, or is it are they going to portray it as like a genuine romance? You know, because like you say, like it is messed up and fractured in like the books, and that's why I prefer Harley now that she's away from the Joker in the books and just in all media besides this movie, I guess. Because like of course the Joker's a toxic person to be with, and that's not a fun thing to read or watch or whatever. Like I don't like that. So especially in like a live action thing where it's being taken seriously and portrayed, I don't want to see Harley in a toxic relationship. So I feel like they kind of have to change that a little bit, or make that a point of the film. You know, one of those two things. So because she's already not a psychiatrist, like that dynamic is gone. There's going to be two kind of like broken people finding each other, and there's some beauty in that for sure. I don't know that I'm going to love this movie because I didn't love the first one. However, I will say I thought this was a great trailer. I thought it was done really well, and it reminded me that even though I didn't love the first one, it's a very well made movie, and it's got a lot of style, and it's got a lot of like visual things that are very interesting. And I thought there was a lot of that in this trailer, him under like a single spotlight, them kind of dancing in Arkham, but then also dancing on a big stage. Like how much of this is going on in their minds, how much of it is not. Like there was a lot of just like kind of like style and like the big red block letters that, you know, Phoenix, Gaga, Joker, like that was all like kind of reminiscent of the first trailer. So it's still kind of like they're building on their own world kind of, and the trailer felt like a sequel to the trailer for the first one, if that makes sense. So I feel like they haven't forgotten how to capture the tone and the style of the first one.
Yeah. Which
I like. I am hoping that I like this movie more than I like the first one, which isn't a movie that I hated. It just didn't hit me the way it hit other people. So I like this a lot, especially, and a lot of people are talking about how cool the last shot of the trailer is, where she draws a smile on glass and he moves his head into the perfect place and then smiles, and it completely lines up. What'd you say?
I said that just seemed cheesy as shit to me.
Really?
Sorry. Yeah, it did not land with me at all. It seemed too on point.
I agree with you. I thought the technical aspect of it was very impressive, where like clearly somebody really did that on the glass, and he had to really move his head exactly in the right spot and hold it exactly still to get it to his smile line up. I think it's cool. It's not, I've seen people being like, calling for an Oscar because this one shot in a trailer, and I was like, yo, dude, like it's a cool shot, but like it's not, you're not winning awards. It's not Spielberg. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. There's probably harder things lined up in X-Men 97 than that shot.
Yeah, and you know what? It's kind of, now that we're talking about it, it's kind of like that shot and like some of the response that I've seen to it, I feel like is kind of indicative of, or reminiscent, I should say, of things that I thought about the first one, where like the first one, I feel like the first one thinks it's smarter than it is.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And that shot at the end of this trailer felt that way too. Like, this is a cool trailer. It's executed very well, but they're lingering on it a little bit. Like, they really clearly that was put at the end of the trailer to wow us, and it did for a lot of people because what I've seen. But to me, it's just like, like it's cool. It's style. It's got a lot of style to it. Like I said, like there's a lot of style to this trailer.
Yeah,
which is something I liked about it. But I want there to be some more substance. It can't just work on style alone for me.
Yeah.
So those are our thoughts. The trailer for Joker, Folie, Deux, coming in October 4th. Of course, that's an R-rated movie as well. Couple other DC things that came out of CinemaCon.
I gotta bounce for a second.
Walk away. You're excused. CinemaCon. What am I looking at? DC CinemaCon. There wasn't a huge. I mean, obviously the Joker trailer came out of the Warner Brothers presentation at CinemaCon, and a couple of other things do. But it wasn't a DC presentation. It was a Warner Brothers presentation. So I think they also showed maybe footage of Beetlejuice, and talked about other non-nerdy Warner Brothers stuff. We're sticking to the nerdy stuff. So only a couple other things. There was footage from a new Christopher Reeve documentary called Super/Man, which apparently, from all reports, was like just devastating in like a good way, if that makes sense. Emotional, I should say. Powerful. That's a good descriptor. I believe that is going to be, I feel like when that was announced, I feel like it was going to be a Max exclusive. Might be going for a theatrical as well, but I'm sure that'll turn up on HBO Max at some point. Sorry, just Max, not HBO Max anymore. And who wouldn't love a Christopher Reeve documentary? He's got a very powerful, inspiring, and also tragic life, that guy. So I'll definitely be checking that out when it is out. Now, this other thing, I saw a lot of people reporting this, a lot of people talking about it on social media, that they showed the new official logo for Superman, like the new crest, the new S that will be on his chest, which we got a glimpse of from a set photo that was posted by James Gunn on social media. And this design was very reminiscent of that. However, this was not officially posted. I didn't see this officially posted from Warner Brothers or from DC or from James Gunn or DC Studios or anything. So I've only seen this posted from other people that claim that it was a logo that was released at CinemaCon. So if you see it out there, I don't think it's a spoiler, but check your sources and see if you can find an official release for this and let us know. But it looks cool. I would love for it to have been an actual release and for Warner Brothers to have officially released it, but whatever, they didn't. So not confirmed, but based on what we saw from the set photo, seemed like it could be the same thing. So, you can look that up if you want. The last thing on this DC little roundup section, not from CinemaCon, from James Gunn himself, posting a photo on social media to announce that filming has begun on Peacemaker Season 2. James Gunn now has 2 live-action projects in active development, active filming, being Superman and also Peacemaker Season 2. However, he's come out to say he is not actually directing any episodes of Season 2 because he's going to be busy making Superman. However, he did write the majority of the series, so he's still very involved, and clearly he was on set enough to take this picture. It's a cool picture. It's like a reflection of him taking the picture in the back of Peacemaker's helmet. I almost said iconic helmet. Is it iconic yet? I don't think so. Still too low rung of a character, but maybe. In his world, it is. Hey, welcome back, Steve.
Hi, how we doing?
Fine. You missed me just yammering about these small little DC nuggets of information, and now you're back just in time to move on to Marvel.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Here we
So
are.
some stuff we got from Disney's CinemaCon panel. Obviously focused on Marvel. I don't think there was any Star Wars stuff at CinemaCon. I don't think they have any. Well, because it's all film based, they don't have anything. Show.
Yeah, because there's nothing that's close enough for that. Yeah.
Right. So we did get some good Marvel stuff. Apparently, audiences at CinemaCon got to see 9 minutes of Deadpool and Wolverine. Director Shawn Levy was there. Shawn Levy. Sorry. Talked about how much he loved making the movie, how it was more than just Deadpool 3. It had to honor Wolverine as a character and all these other things. He was also asked again if there's any truth to rumor of Taylor Swift playing Dazzler. And he said something like, "How dare you ask me a question that you know that I can't answer?" Yeah. Everyone in the country knows that I cannot answer that question. So that's still not a no. But you know what? I thought about it, Steve, and personally, I think this is true. Personally, I think she's in it as Dazzler. I think that's going to be something that happens.
Yeah.
And he's not saying it because he doesn't want to spoil it. That's what I believe. And I'm hoping that they don't put her in a trailer. I'm hoping that it is a surprise for audiences that go see the movie. And then, like, after the first week, then we get a new trailer that has her in it that brings all the Swifties out of the woodwork to give it a big second weekend. That's my guess. It's my guess. Prediction, I should say. I don't know if that's happening. But at the same time, despite me believing that, I can also see why he wouldn't comment on it. Like, why say no? If you're going to get a bunch of Swifties to think she might be in the movie,
right,
and they're going to go see the movie,
yeah, there's no reason for him to say no.
Zero reason for him to say no. Either way, she's in it or she's not. You making people think that she might be is enough. So, of course, we're not going to get a confirmation. Now, I hope they don't put her in a trailer if she is in it, but I also don't trust. I don't trust studios they'll be too anxious to be like, we have to put her in the trailer. We have to.
But why?
But I don't know. We'll see. No,
when
it comes out.
What you do is you drop it the first weekend and then put out a teaser after that with her.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. Just because I would like to preserve the theatrical surprise of something like that would be. Like, imagine being in a theater and nobody knows that Taylor Swift's in the movie, and then she pops up. Like, it would be a great explosion of excitement. It would be a great theatrical experience.
And after that weekend, just spread it far and wide. What the hell?
Yeah, and then let word of mouth. You don't even have to cut another trailer. Just let word of mouth. It'll be all over the internet.
Yeah,
she's in this movie. Everyone go see it, and then they have a bigger second weekend than they had opening weekend.
Well, but that's the thing is, like, you wouldn't even have to cut another. Just add 3 seconds of her in the existing trailer somewhere and go from there.
Yeah. Anyway. Deadpool Wolverine coming out this summer. We'll probably get another trailer probably next month, I would think. Probably May. We've only gotten that teaser. We haven't gotten an official trailer yet. So I would say probably May. June at the latest. I think it's coming out in July. So yeah, it's got to be May. It's like July or August, I think. So I don't know. So there's definitely going to be a story trailer that has more Wolverine in it because they need us to see Wolverine.
Yeah, it's officially July 26th.
July 26th. Okay, late July. Yeah. So we should get another trailer next month.
I believe Levy has come out and said too that they always say this, like, Thor Ragnarok was not supposed to be Thor 3. It was its own thing.
Sure.
But that this was not Deadpool 3, this was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right.
So they're definitely pushing the Wolverine into things.
Yeah. Yeah. His name's in the title. They have to.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean, though.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Yeah. And that's why I think when we do get a story trailer, it's going to be very Wolverine heavy because it's clearly a big part of the movie. So we will see. Audiences at CinemaCon also got scenes from Captain America Brave New World, I believe. I think Anthony Mackie was there himself. Some official photos were posted as well, from like E-Online or something. Photos of President Thunderbolt Ross, now played by Harrison Ford, asking, apparently, this is news from CinemaCon and not quote unquote confirmed, I guess, by these photos. A scene with audiences saw a scene of President Ross asking the new Captain America to assemble a new Avengers team. And apparently the plot of the movie has something to do with sleeper agents being awoken by some code or song or something. And confirmed that Isaiah Bradley is also returning. Character of Isaiah Bradley is returning to be in this film as well. Character that was introduced in Falcon and the Winter Soldier television show.
Same actor or?
I believe it is. I have not heard confirmation, but I believe that it is, and I hope that it is. And also, following up on a story that Steve and I talked about 2 weeks ago, I think.
Still, my brain was still poking around on the Isaiah Bradley thing. Because does that also mean his grandson is there?
I don't know.
Because Patriot would be, the more we see these young Avengers, the more they're gearing towards it.
Yeah. "Quote unquote" young Avengers. Right. I feel like, depending on who you're picking to be on that team, like Hawkeye, she's like in her late 20s already, at least, possibly 30s.
Florence Pugh's in the same vein.
Same with Florence Pugh, if she's going to be on it too. Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
I think she's going to be mainline Avengers. I think Yelena's going to be around.
Yeah, because anyway, the guy who played Elijah Bradley was definitely younger than those two.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Florence Pugh and her character that will be appearing in Thunderbolts, this is a story that Steve and I talked about 2 weeks ago, I think. And now, you know what? Hey, listen to the Multiverse Report. You get reports like this. We talk about them 2 weeks ahead of general outlets picking it up and talking about and theorizing why there's an asterisk now at the end of Thunderbolts. Remember that? We talked about that 2 weeks ago.
We did.
Because we saw Florence Pugh behind the scenes video on our Instagram or whatever. And now Kevin Feige took the stage at CinemaCon and confirmed that, yes, this is a new Thunderbolts logo and it contains the asterisk. That's part of it.
Yep.
And he won't say what the asterisk is for or what it means until the movie comes out. It makes sense. Clearly, it's there for a reason. And my theory, Steve, if you remember from a couple of weeks ago, was that it's not a strong theory, it's just a thing that came into my head, is that at some point they'll find some kind of dossier of a bunch of characters, and all of their names will have asterisks next to them that means whatever, they're expendable or they're easily manipulated or whatever. You know, will indicate something about each member of that team. That's my guess. However, there's a lot of people theorizing online that there's an asterisk there because Thunderbolts is not actually the name of the movie. And they're going to somehow switch that, or by the end of it, it'll be something else. I heard someone say Dark Avengers. That can't be. I don't think that's, unless they're just stealing the title, seems would be impossible.
Right.
But I don't know. But there's clearly something up with it. It's clearly there for a reason. As Steve and I talked about 2 weeks ago, people, come on, catch up to the Multiverse Report. So we'll see what that asterisk stands for or indicates or means, or all those things. Last thing before comics, moving into a video game territory. We got the story trailer for Star Wars Outlaws past week. I thought this was going to be a gameplay trailer, and there may have been like one or two quick shots of like some kind of, I don't really think so. Never mind. I think I'm just making that up. I think it's just a story trailer, cutscenes and whatnot for Star Wars Outlaws. This is a game that stars a character named Kay Vess. She's a scoundrel who gets into trouble and needs to pull off one more big score in order to clear her name somehow. You know, sci-fi logic.
Right.
It's a game that comes out August 30th. So it's not even that far away. It comes out this year. Takes place between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And this trailer has some cameos in it. We got to see Jabba the Hutt. We got to see Han Solo frozen in carbonite, which is cool. And we got a quick shot of Kira from Solo, a Star Wars story, as head of a representative of Crimson Dawn, which I thought was really awesome. And I'm sure there may have been more in there that I didn't catch. In general, Steve, what did you think of the trailer for Star Wars Outlaws?
I thought it looked like it might be a fun game with some quirks. Like, I don't know if it'll be something that I pre-order by any stretch, but if the reviews are decent enough, I'll probably check it out.
I think I'll definitely check it out because
it's got the Star Wars name on it.
Because it's a Star Wars game, and if it's anywhere near the level of Fallen Order, but just not with a Jedi, just with like a,
Oh, I love that aspect of it.
Yeah. And the fact that it's open world, like I want to see what that's like.
Right.
Like, what does that really mean? Can I just get into a ship and fly to another planet? I mean, I guess you can do that in Fallen Order too, but like, how much more open world is this? What is the feel? What is the design of the game?
Right.
Versus Fallen Order, where like, you could argue some aspects of Fallen Order have an open world thing
to
going
a degree,
on, So like, how much more open can this world be? I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you're talking about a story that takes place in a multi-planet galaxy, what's that like? So I'm very curious to see that, and I'm sure we'll get a gameplay trailer sometime in the next few months as well, or a preview of some kind of it as well. I'm definitely going to check it out because if it's anywhere near the quality of Fallen Order and Survivor, then it's going to be well worth it, I think, for Star Wars fans.
Yeah, it is Ubisoft who've been hit or miss on. It's funny, there was a stretch where they were very solid, but they've been hit or miss on a bunch of things. So I'll be curious where it goes. Definitely, like we said, there's some promise. I would really like anything non-Force user, I always love. But I guess as long as it doesn't become like Star Wars cliche rather than Star Wars Outlaws, then we're fine.
Good point. Like, I kind of know what you're saying.
What we heard from, the one more score and everything. It's like, come on, guys, just
that was me kind of. I was that's directly from this.
No, but that's like the feel of it was like, I got to do this, and then I'll get it right. I'll get right.
Yeah,
and it's like, we don't need Han Solo the game without Han Solo. It just, I don't know, something just doesn't quite sit right. But it may be awesome. Who knows?
It may be, and I'm hoping it is.
Yeah.
Find out August 30th-ish. Moving into comics. Steve, do you have a comic to review?
I have an entire graphic novel to review.
Cool, because I do not have a comic to review. So you can review that entire graphic novel. What is it?
It is Mad Cave's Nottingham.
Oh,
Nottingham.
Nice.
A twisted take on your standard Robin Hood cliche. Old classic tale of, the merry men, Robin Hood and the merry men stealing from the rich, giving to the poor. This is actually told from the side of the sheriff of Nottingham. So you're looking at it through his eyes through the entire book. There's some twists, some turns, some people that you didn't think were going to be antagonists end up antagonists. People that you didn't think were going to be protagonists end up protagonists.
Okay.
Things get weird. The art style is actually pretty unique. A lot of, dark and light juxtaposition.
Nice.
It's a relatively raw visual. You get a lot of, I guess, that style of art.
Yeah.
But
kind of like 90s.
Yeah, almost a 90s. Yeah. It's like a cleaner 90s look to it.
Yeah.
Great story. Really enjoyed it. This is actually Jesse loaned this to me. I'm going to end up buying it from him because it was good enough to buy.
Oh, nice.
But it was he was like saying, I think he said this was his second favorite book Mad Cave put out. And if I didn't like this, then I just wasn't going to like anything Mad Cave. And I really did enjoy it.
Nice. Yeah, he has told me about Nottingham a number of times. He's been singing his praises for a while. So
yeah, it was pretty solid. So
that's great.
If I'll find out Wednesday, I'll determine whether I'm going to return it to him or just purchase it.
Yeah.
But
Just hand him some money.
If I do purchase it, I'll just let you borrow it. But
Awesome.
Overall, a different take on a classic tale, and I think any longtime listeners know that, like me with Once and Future, any of those like old school classic, these are the original, not fairy tales, but old classic stories reimagined with a new twist on them. It's always had a soft spot in my heart. So this one definitely hit the right notes, and I really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I will have to check it out. Are you caught up to speed on your 1,000 comics?
I'm not up to speed, but I read a shit ton this week.
All right. Read all of Nottingham. It's got to be at least 6 issues, probably.
5.
5. All right. There you go.
I'm trying to figure out where I left off last week. Void Rivals 8. Okay. Wow, Jesus. I really did read a lot. So I think I mentioned last week I'm starting to tackle the entire run of House of M.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
It's
so
crazy
we hit
you're doing it.
Iron Man, and then the Hulk tie-in Volume 2, number 83, the Uncanny X-Men 462, which was a tie-in, the Mutopia tie-in, Spider-Man, or House of M Spider-Man, House of M number 4, Cable and Deadpool number 17, Incredible Hulk Volume 2 number 84, Pulse Volume 1 number 10, New X-Men Volume 2 number 16. Those were all tie-ins to the House of M. I am continuing to read that as my quote-unquote bedtime book. Man. So we'll see how that goes. All 5 issues of Nottingham. Edge of Spider-Verse number 3, which is actually pretty... Justina Ireland's Star Spider story in there was awesome. Cool. Invincible Iron Man and Resurrection Magneto continue to absolutely blow me out of the water. Rook and Knight, which was a Kickstarter that I grabbed off of Daniel Calvin, who I believe both of us kickstarted American Dreams from.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
This was his, next foray into that universe. It's about a father and son crime-fighting duo. So, read that. Solid offering. Awesome. Ms. Marvel Mutant Menace number 2, Wolverine Volume 7, number 45, 46, and 47. That was the Sabretooth War. Nice. High Republic number 6, Ultimate X-Men number 2, and Transformers number 7. Ultimate X-Men number 2 was quite a fan of. Kind of, you can see how it's going to start moving. Right now we're still solo with armor, and you can see how it's going to start moving towards a team book. I think within the next couple issues, that's going to kick off hard.
Nice. And when do those new X-Men series that starts this summer, right?
Yeah.
The Gail Simone. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, the Uncanny and
yeah.
Oh god, that was great on socials. Gail Simone and Jed McKay were going at it as to whose team could beat up the other team.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she's great.
Gail Simone is the best.
She's like the only reason I still every once in a while check Twitter.
Yes.
Like her and like 2 other accounts that I'm just like, I'll just see.
Yeah, see how they're doing. Yep.
Yeah. But she's also on other platforms now too. So
nice.
Bringing her crazy feuds everywhere.
They are the most fun feuds ever too.
Oh. Yeah. She just knows how to like rile up a nerd.
100%.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, like she will, for those of you who don't know, Gail Simone is a famed comic book author. Had a huge presence on Twitter when Twitter was Twitter. And she's very good at trolling and nerd baiting. She'll say how much she loves about a character, but change one detail so it's wrong, and just let people yell at her. Yeah. She'll respond in ways that justify her original intentional mistake that are to humorous effect.
Yeah, and it's usually with characters that she wrote.
Yeah,
which is even more hilarious.
Right, because then people call her out on not knowing anything about that character, and she's like, "Yo, I wrote Deadpool for like years."
Yeah, that actually that was the one that specifically I remembered in my head was like,
yeah,
some random dude on the internet called her out for like, oh, no, you're completely mischaracterizing Deadpool. She's like,
Yeah.
I literally wrote him in the era that you're talking about.
Yeah,
So
I literally redefined him myself. Her famous one being saying that Cyclops has heat vision.
Yes.
Which is a common mistake amongst the rubes, but it's not heat, it's propulsive. But she insists that it's heat vision, and every time she posts about it, she still gets people that don't get it and are calling her out on it. It's really, really funny. Longest running gag. Anyway, this week in your local comic book store, you may find the following books: Animal Pound #3, Avengers Twilight #5, Batman Off-World #4, Batman Superman World's Finest #26, Beware the Planet of the Apes #4, Black Widow and Hawkeye #2, Catwoman #64, Cobra Commander #4, Dudley Datsun and the Forever Machine #1. I don't know what that is. It just has an awesome name.
Okay.
Dudley Datsun and the Forever Machine.
Yeah.
So cool. Elvira meets H.P. Lovecraft #3, Fall of the House of X #4, Ghost Rider Final Vengeance #2, Giant-Sized Hulk #1, Green Lantern War Journal #8, Hack/Back to School #4, John Constantine Dead in America #4, Miles Morales Spider-Man #19, Nightwing #113, Spider-Boy #6, Star Trek #19, Star Wars Mace Windu #3, Superman #13, Spectacular Spider-Men #2, Ultimate Black Panther #3, and Wonder Woman 8. Those books and many more will be at your local comic book store. Steve, I know you're pulling Avengers Twilight. What else are you pulling off this list? Anything else?
Ultimate Black Panther and Spectacular Spider-Man. Oh, and Fall of House of X.
And Dudley Datsun and the Forever Machine, of course.
Possibly. I'm not thinking so, but
I mean, the title alone makes
Cobra
me
Commander
interested.
too.
That's right. You are still reading Cobra Commander.
Nice. Nightwing, is that still the Tom Taylor run?
Yes,
He's still going strong.
Yeah, I don't think their final arc starts until May, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And so they have like one more, I think, 5 or 6 issue arc to finish it off. That'll start. It'll be over the summer, I think.
Also, for anyone who was going after Tom Taylor on socials, they can go shit in a hat.
Yeah, what was up with that?
That was a weird one.
People posting burning pictures of
Tom Taylor,
author Tom Taylor. I don't know. And he's gotten a lot of hate for, I mean, bigots that hated him writing Superman's bisexual son in Super.
Right.
It was Superman, Man of Tomorrow, or Boy of Tomorrow, or what? Man of Tomorrow was the. I think was.
Yeah, what
he had his own.
Was it Kala or?
I read every part of it. Oh no, I think it was John Kent Superman.
Yeah, that's that. I think that sounds right.
I don't remember what it was, but anyway, his run when Clark Kent was off on like War World or something, and the main Superman book was John Kent was his son, and John Kent happens to be bisexual. That was a big thing.
Superman, son of Kal-El.
Son of Kal-El. That's what it was. That's what it was. So he got harassed by bigots online for that, and he's like, he didn't create that character, but he was taking the brunt of it. And I think just that alone set people off enough that they're still mad about it, and they just still
there's still
burn
people,
him in effigy. Apparently,
there's still people that are probably pissed about his all new Wolverine run.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. Which I still have to read, by the way, because I've heard is incredible,
amazing.
Yeah, I gotta get that.
And we're no longer PG-13. That was our second F-bomb of the night.
So. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's over. It's over for us. We won't appeal to the children. Actually, we'll probably appeal to them. So, right. Parents. Got a couple one-shots for you tonight. I'll do one, and Steve, you can do the other one. That's cool with you?
Sure.
I will start it off by saying that Star Trek Strange New Worlds has been renewed for Season 4. And unfortunately, Star Trek Lower Decks will end after Season 5. Strange New World, Season 3 is premiering early 2025. When I first read that headline, I was like, it just got renewed for Season 4? Hasn't it only been out for like 2 years? They do 4 seasons of this show in 2 years? And then I realized, Season 3 is not even out yet. Right. I get it.
1 and 2 were such big hits that they just greenlit for.
They just keep greenlighting, yeah. And Lower Decks I've never seen, but I've heard it's very funny. It's an animated comedy about people that work on the lower decks of a Starfleet ship. premiered in 2020, and the 5th and final season comes out this fall. So that is impressive to me for being an animated show. I feel like animation takes forever. So you did 5 seasons in 4 years. Crazy. Good for you, Lower Decks.
Yeah.
Farewell.
Is that it on this?
That's all I got on Star
okay,
Trek.
cool.
I've never seen either of those shows, so I can't really talk about them too much. But.
No, Stranger Worlds I'm very much looking forward to, so that'll be good. And even if you're not a Trek nerd, like, check out Stranger Worlds.
I know.
Just
I
good
keep
television.
meaning to. I should.
Yeah.
I should.
And in the on the flip side of things, Game of Thrones spinoff centered on Jon Snow is no longer happening. When asked about the status of the series, Kit Harington said, "Currently, it's off the table because we couldn't find all the right story to tell. That we're excited about enough. So we decided to lay down tools for it for the time being. There may be a time in the future where we return to it, but at the moment, it is firmly on the shelf." Which that tracks. I mean, I still was trying to figure out what the story was going to be. So yeah, I mean, there's 12,000 Game of Thrones spinoffs still happening. So losing one isn't really going to hurt anyone, except for Kit Harington's wallet.
That's true. Yeah. I wasn't really surprised about this because when I read that, I was like, the headline simultaneously told me that it wasn't happening, but also reminded me that it was a thing. Like, it's not a thing that I had thought about in a while or really cared about because, like you said, he willingly went up beyond the wall to be up there. So how much story can you tell? We already know what's up there. We've spent a lot of time up there in Game of Thrones without bringing him back to have other people to interact with. I don't know what the story is going to be. So I can understand them not being really able to find one. So, bummer for Kit Harington fans, though, for sure. Big bummer. But yeah, I think that's all we got. Steve, this is a shorter episode.
Little, not too crazy.
Not too crazy. I feel like our last couple episodes.
We're actually sub an hour. This is.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I
forgot we started late. I looked at the time. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Weird.
It is weird, but I don't have anything else to talk about. Hey, yes, I do. What am I, crazy? I'm rewatching Andor. I guess I was texting with you about this, so you kind of know. But, man, this show's so good. So
it really
good.
is.
And when I decided to rewatch it, it took me a little bit to get through the first 3. And not that I didn't like it, but I was like, okay, yeah, I remember it started a little slow. It's still good. This show's really good, but it's just like the first few are. Oh, the third one's really good, and then that propels you on. But then as soon as I got into the 4th one, like right away, I was like, oh, this is now you're like immediately off to the races. You're meeting more characters. The world is opening up. He's getting set up to this heist thing. Now we know Luthen and his 2 personality kind of things, and it just immediately deepens the entire show. And I've been watching it every waking available moment. Trying to get through. Awesome. Yeah, so good. It's so good.
Yeah. No, and that I can't remember whether it was texting with you or talking otherwise that I had heard exactly that of like it's it's been since it came out that I watched it. Yeah. But like that the first 3 episodes were like, yeah, this is a good show, and then the 4th episode hits and you're like, this is a masterpiece. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly that. And that I think it's episode 6 with the actual heist on Aldahni and the eye of Aldahni with the meteors going over that is an incredible piece of Star Wars. Yeah, incredible piece of television. It's super tense, lead up, and then it's all. The whole episode is one big like ball of tension that just escalates and escalates and just then leaves you.
Yeah,
I remember
was it that or the penultimate that Luthen's monologue was in?
I don't know if it's even the penultimate. I think it's whatever one has the jailbreak scene in it.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I knew it was combined with some major event. I couldn't remember which. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's insane because there's like 2 to 3 great monologue speeches in that one episode, and you think they could like.
Yeah, Andy Serkis has a phenomenal monologue, and then it just gets completely overshadowed.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking about it when it was coming out, just like how at first I was like, why did you get Andy Serkis for this role? Like it doesn't seem like his first 2 episodes or whatever. I was like, this is just why bother? Anybody could do this.
Right.
You know, why'd you pay for Andy Serkis? And like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's why you
Now
did.
I
Okay,
see.
got it.
Because you need an actor. You need an actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, honestly, that is all I have. Don't have any other anything else to report.
No.
So,
well, that works. We made it
hey,
all the way
if
to
that's
an
the
hour,
news, then
so
that's the
we
news.
hit our quota.
Okay, if we made an hour, then we're good.
So if you'd like to hear more hours of Mike and I talking about various things, you can check us out on all your podcast feeds. Please, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Like, subscribe. If you leave a 5-star review for us, we will read it on the air. If it's a recipe, we'll eat it on the air. Long-standing promise there. Feel free to check us out on YouTube, the Multiverse Report, any socials, same handle. Actually, we probably should have plugged it at the beginning of the show, but our Patreon is live. So if you feel like supporting the show in any way, shape, or form, there are tiers there that can get you some new or some additional content from us, as well as access to our Discord channel. If you are listening to us and you are hyped for May the 4th, we will have some more announcements coming out soon as to May the 4th related content. And that might be it for me.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
And if it's it for you, then it's it for me. I don't want to do this by myself.
Fair enough.
So until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you in the multiverse.